So I supported Hero Pay. I believe it was a unanimous vote on the city council. We all supported it. The reason that I supported it primarily was the class of employees that we were trying to help. These were people that were in grocery stores in very uncertain times. And it was for a limited duration, and that's something I could live with. It was for a limited duration to allow people to have the incentive to retain their jobs and to not leave their jobs. It did have an unintended consequence in the city of Long Beach for the stores that had to close, but I do believe it was the right thing to do for those workers. I'll tell you, in Orange County, I don't prosecute cases anymore, but every once in a while, our DA, I'm part of the executive team, he'll ask me to try a case. And sometimes if it's a high-profile case, he'll say, can you do it? Because I'm old guard and they don't have to do a lot of training, they could just throw me in there. I prosecuted the case with the ladies that went into the Mother's Market in Orange County and were refusing to wear a mask. The way they treated those employees was obnoxious and made me decide they deserved every penny of that Hero Pay.
How will you help the city of Long Beach get off of oil?
That's a great question. We're going to have to transition away from oil. We've been talking now for many years that the city of Long Beach has two different enterprise funds. So the city of Long Beach has a $3.2 billion budget. We have 9 enterprise funds. 2 of those rely primarily on oil revenue in order to exist. One of those 2 enterprise funds serves primarily the Tidelands area of the city, which is the ocean until the concrete. All of the infrastructure that we do along the coast, the playgrounds, the bathrooms, the convention center, the aquarium, the Queen Mary, for years that funding has come from the Tidelands Fund and it's not had to involve the general fund. That's going to change. So as a city, we're going to have to start budgeting for those areas and include them into the general fund because oil revenue is on its downturn, and in the next 7 to 10 years, it's not going to be a source of revenue that we can rely on, and we should plan for that.
So, before we can get our city off of oil, we have to get our politics off of oil.
Long Beach is an oil province for more than 70 years, and we balance our budget based on revenues generated by oil. My opponent just broke down how it works. So we have an inherent conflict of interest from accepting contributions from oil companies. When I started running for city council 8 years ago, I accepted contributions from local oil providers. And then I learned about this real conflict of interest and the climate emergency that we have. So after my re-election, I joined the South Coast Air Quality Management Board, District Board. I stopped accepting contributions from oil companies. I'm the only candidate in this race who is committed to not accepting $1 of oil funds in my campaign for mayor of Long Beach. And so the next thing we have to do is we have to invest in our climate action adaptation plan. Back in 2020, I championed a ballot measure called Measure US, which taxed oil in our city and invested those resources into advancing our climate action and adaptation plan, investing in our youth and in public health. We have to think comprehensively. We have to prepare for the future, but we have to end that conflict of interest and stop involving oil in our politics. Thank you.
Thank you again for inviting us here tonight. I love these opportunities to get to meet new people and talk and share with you about ourselves. One thing I will tell you is what I have learned over my life, my professional life, my educational life, and just regular old life, is that nothing can help you make a decision about the authenticity and the character of another human being more than having the opportunity to have them in front of you, assess them with your eyes, and determine for yourself whether they are authentic, whether they appeal to you, whether you believe in their word. It has been my honor and my privilege to serve the city of Long Beach as a councilwoman for the last 8 years. I got involved in this business because I wanted a crosswalk for the PTA. The crosswalk on Elliott Street between Marina Vista Park. I kept getting no's, I ran for office, and 43 crosswalks with flashing beacons later, I will tell you that I've learned a lot about the city. One thing you will learn about me and know about me is I'm not your typical politician. You'll never meet a candidate like me. And I say that may be a good or a bad thing for you, but I will tell you that I'm unique. If you want politics as usual, if you want Sacramento right here in the city of Long Beach, if you want the kind of polarization and divisiveness that none of us want to see in our community today, please do not vote for me. You will be sorely disappointed. But if you want integrity, honesty, and service without politics for every resident in this city, a commitment to leaving no resident behind and fighting hard for quality of life issues for every single one of you, no matter what that issue is, then I'm your candidate and I would be honored to have your support.
First of all, thank you so much for coming out and listening to us. Serving on the Long Beach City Council and as Vice Mayor and as President of our Southern California region has been the honor of a lifetime, and that, you know, it's not lost on me how few people have the opportunity to serve. I believe in public service. I love public service. I love our city. Over the past 8 years, I've seen the grit and determination of our city. I know that our challenges are great ahead, but I also know that we can overcome them. I know because I saw that same spirit of unity and grit and determination over the past 2 years as we got shots in arms and food on the table. When we had, I think about the moments, like when we had unrest in downtown, that very next morning, many of us were out there the very next day, painting out graffiti, sweeping up glass, making sure that we were united as a city. That same spirit of unity and determination is what I'm finding all across the city. I'm proud at how united our city has become. Some may believe that we're divided. I see the contrary. In the primary, I was surprised. The kid from North Long Beach, you know, winning 7 out of 9 council districts. Every community in North Long Beach and Central Long Beach and the West Side and downtown and even the district where, I think this is still the 5th district, post redistricting, even the 5th district in East Long Beach, showing that we can stand behind a vision of a city where all of our communities can thrive, and every resident, and every neighborhood, and every young person has a future and has a city that has their back, and they grow up in a city that is healthy and safe and thriving. I'm proud of the campaign we've put together. That's broad, it looks like our city, and they're hopeful about the future. The majority of the members of our school board, like Megan Kerr, respected leaders like Bonnie Lowenthal, respected members of our city council, a coalition that looks like and feels like our city. So we're ready to lead our city. We're ready to bring us together and represent every part of our community. I humbly want to thank you so much for your time. I had a great time this evening, and my kids have to go to bed. We drove a bit separately. I'm going to walk them to their car, and I'm going to come back and talk with each and every one of you that would like to meet me. Thank you so much.